Today, we're finally going to answer the question, does a drum shield kill your drum tone? But before we can answer that question, we have to get a drum shield. Let's go. Hey, what's up guys? We're here at my home church, Stone Creek, a little bit north of Atlanta. I'm here with Slade Goplin from Goplin Enclosures. What are we doing today, Slade?
We're installing a G2.5 today.
Yes,
good to be
are.
Here. Nice to finally meet you in person.
Yeah, great to meet you too. Yeah, we've been internet friends for a minute and so glad to meet in person.
Nice to be here.
But yeah, so we're installing a drum shield today, so let's get started. So you might be asking, why are we doing a drum shield in this space? And the answer is pretty simple. We actually just renovated this entire auditorium. We added about 300 seats. We totally changed the design and layout of our stage. And in the process, our stage depth got a lot more shallow. So now with the stage change up, our drums are about 10 feet from the first row. So about where your viewpoint is right now. That's way closer and it's so loud for people who are right there in that front space. So we knew we had to do something about that, and the answer for us was to get a really awesome shield to help mitigate some of that noise and stage volume. So we partnered with Goplin to make this happen. They've got some really cool designs for their shields that are going to fit perfectly into this space. Let's check it out. All right, so we're getting close to getting this unit up and operational. You can see we've got a light bar in here, which is really nice. We do have a camera on our drummer, so really nice to have some extra lighting in there. We also, one of my favorite features, we've got little microphone mounts up here. So you mount your overheads directly to this bar, so you don't have to squeeze in extra mic stands around here. That's gonna be super helpful. Just mount a little boom arm to it, put them exactly where you need them. All right, so now the big question is, what does it actually sound like? Does it make a difference on the actual sound that we're able to get from our drum mics being in an enclosure versus not? And it's a question that a lot of us, including myself, have. So I set up a little experiment. I recorded our last service without the drum shield, and I'm about to record another service with the drum shield. Let's take the tracks back to the studio and hear exactly what they sound like before and after. All right, so now we're back in the studio with our drum tracks. We've recorded the week before with no shield and this week with a shield. So the really cool thing about this is we did the same song both weeks. So I pulled a section from that so we can hear the same drum kit, the same drummer, the same song. The only difference is that one has the shield and the other does not have the shield. So I think the first thing we need to do is just listen to these raw drum tracks. And now, before we jump into it, if you want to listen for yourself, I've got a link to download the raw drum tracks in the description. So you can just pull these up, listen for yourself, really dive into it, solo everything out, see what you think the real differences are. So let's go ahead and listen to the drum kit before the shield was installed. Okay, I think it sounds really good for a kit with zero processing on it. Everything sounds in phase, everything's locked in, tuning is good. I'm hearing a nice natural drum sound like I would expect. Let's go ahead and listen to it after the shield has been installed. Okay, that still feels really good to me. I do hear some differences though. So if you heard something too, I want you to comment right now what you think the differences are. Just like first impression, I want to see what people come up with. So comment down below, what do you think the biggest difference was in what you just heard? Now, the first thing I want to talk about is something that I didn't hear. I'm really glad that I didn't, and that's phase cancellation. Phase cancellation is what happens when the sound coming from a source, like a drum, gets into multiple microphones at different times times. For example, a snare drum is going to reach the top snare mic first, then it might get into the first tom mic, or then it might get into the overheads after that. All those are happening at slightly different times, and that's normal. There's no way to avoid that. But what we don't want to hear is a bunch of reflections. So imagine this, you've got that snare, and not only is the direct sound getting into the mics at different times, but also the sound might be bouncing off the drum shield and then taking a longer route to get back into the microphones at different times as well. That's where you really get into problems, and I've heard that over and over again, especially with like circular curved shields or kind of the square shields. Sound will bounce back and forth between two flat surfaces like the edges of a drum shield, and you end up with this really weird phasey sound. And fortunately, with this drum shield and the way that it's designed, I didn't hear that. So I'm really thankful and excited for that. The second thing I noticed was the huge difference in how much less PA bleed is in the kit now that we've got a shield. So check out the pre-shield audio. Listen to how much background noise from the PA we're hearing. Like, we can easily tell like what the singers are singing, and this is with no compression or anything. Like, that's only going to get worse as we add compression, maybe some more high end. That's going to get even more pronounced. But like, check it out, you can already hear it. Now let's listen to the same spot with the shield. Yeah, massive difference. There's way less PA getting in. That's really because of the top of the shield that's blocking so much of the sound coming from the PA speakers that are nearest to the drum kit. Now, just for fun, I wanted to hear what happens when we add some processing to these drum tracks. So I went in, I added some basic EQ and compression, because a lot of times stuff can get worse, like problems can get a lot worse when you add processing to it. So like that background noise we just heard, it's going to be brought up by compression. And maybe I've added a little bit of high end into some of the drums and the overheads. We're going to hear some more artifacts potentially because of that. So I want to see if what's happening changes more when there's processing on the drums. Let's listen to the chorus pre-shield. With that EQ and compression added, I'm definitely hearing a lot more of the background noise from the PA that's being brought up by that compression, and especially the high frequency boost on the overheads. Let's listen to the post-shield recording and see if that's any different. Yeah, that's awesome. That's like one of the biggest parts of the song, and I'm hearing basically no bleed from the PA, and that's all because of that covering over top of the shield. So that's really cool. Let's check out another area that I was concerned about, and that's the kick out mic. That mic is right up against the edge of the shield, so there's a very real possibility that the air that moves through the kick and the sound that comes with it is going to bounce off the shield and then just come right back into the mic. So this is the Lawton kick mic, so let's see if it does a good job of rejecting that, or if we hear any kind of weird phasiness in that kick out mic. Let's check it out pre-shield first. Okay, that feels really good, like I would expect. So let's jump over to after the shield is in place and see if it's any different. Yeah, that's great. That's honestly even better than I expected. I definitely thought there was going to be something that you'd be able to hear, like some little flutter or phasiness or something in the low end, but I've got a sub here in the studio, and like the low end impact from that mic feels exactly the same, so I don't think we're getting like a weird reflection off of the plexiglass back into the mic. Another area where we can really run into issues is with snare. Let's go ahead and listen to that along with the overheads. A lot of times, especially in drum cages I've used in the past, you'll get weird interactions, weird phasiness between the snare mics and the overhead mics. So let's listen to all four of those mics together. This is the top snare, bottom snare, and left and right overheads. Let's listen to it pre-shield first and get a bass line. Cool. Sounds exactly like we expect it to. It's in phase, everything's working together. Let's see if the drum shield holds up. I'm actually really impressed by how much I don't hear the effect of the shield in there. Obviously, we talked about we're getting a lot less PA bleed through the overheads, so I feel like I can hear the articulation and especially the top end of the snare more clearly with that. But usually with drum shields, what you'll run into is a bunch of weird reflections that'll get into those overhead mics. So like the snare, gets hit inside the shield, everything bounces around really chaotically, eventually it gets to the overhead mics, but it just doesn't come together where they get this kind of smeared effect where it just doesn't feel like the snare anymore, especially in the top end. And I'm not getting that at all with this recording. So I'm so happy with the way that that's translating with this shield in the real world. So if you're interested in a drum shield for your church, but maybe like me, you're a little skeptical about, is it going to actually affect the sound quality of the drums and make it sound different in some way? I would really encourage you to download the raw audio files from the link in the description. Go ahead, listen to them, try mixing them, see what you think about it. Does it impact it in some way that maybe I missed? This is our first week with it, so maybe there is something that I missed that you're gonna hear. Let me know in the comments if you think that there is. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that Goplin is an incredible company. Slade is an awesome guy. And if you get a chance to hang out with him while he installs a drum shield at your church, you're gonna be glad that you guys got the chance to meet. And if you're interested in learning more about live sound and how to get great sound for your church, check out worshipsoundguide.com. We have a ton of free resources as well as online courses, a community that you can join. There's all kinds of stuff to help you get better and better at mixing for your church every Sunday. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, share it if you think there's someone else that could learn something from it, and until next time, happy mixing.